Libra, my beautiful soul aligned with divine balance, listen closely tomorrow, December 8th, a hidden door opens, and the truth it reveals will move you to tears. Yes. You heard that right. What's coming is not a moment of pain, but a moment of deep emotional release because something you've been carrying in silence for far too long is about to be lifted. And the universe has chosen this exact moment to deliver it. You didn't land on this video by accident. Your spirit led you here because it's ready to receive something greater, something you've longed for but never fully expected. Whether you came because of a strange dream, an unshakable feeling, or pure curiosity, trust this, you were guided. And you are exactly where you're meant to be. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, a sacred space where awakened hearts gather to hear messages woven in stardust and soul. Today, I'm not simply reading tarot cards, I am interpreting a divine signal that has been vibrating within your energetic field, waiting for you to slow down and listen. Tomorrow, December 8th, is not just another date. It's a cosmic threshold, etched into the spiritual blueprint of your life. The cards have spoken. And Libra, what they're saying is nothing short of life-altering. In this sacred message, you'll hear the voice of destiny calling you toward healing, surrender, and divine alignment. The star, the wheel of fortune, and the Eight of Cups have emerged to guide your transformation. These aren't abstract symbols. They are echoes of your inner voice urging you to release what no longer nourishes your soul and to embrace the miraculous turning point that's already in motion. Let me ask you something. What if everything you've been through, the waiting, the silence, the imbalance, was preparing you for one powerful breakthrough? And what if that breakthrough arrives tomorrow? Pause with me for a moment. Breathe deeply. This isn't a message for your mind, it's a message for your spirit. And before we dive deeper, I want to thank you. Thank you for your presence here, for every like, every share, every sacred comment you've left on this channel. Your support doesn't go unnoticed. You are the heartbeat of Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and it is your energy that keeps these divine messages flowing week after week. And now, I invite you to anchor your energy by leaving a comment to confirm this moment of connection. Right, I am ready for the truth and the blessings that are coming my way. Or simply tell me what guided you here today, Libra. Was it intuition? A prayer? A divine whisper in your spirit? Because trust me, by the end of this reading, you'll see why the universe wanted you here. What's coming is sacred, shocking, and transformative. And you won't want to miss a single moment. So, stay with me, Libra. Let your heart open. Because what the universe is about to show you is nothing short of a miracle. When three cards emerge in perfect harmony, the star, the wheel of fortune, and the Eight of Cups, it's never just a reading. It's a sacred moment of alignment, a whisper from the cosmos inviting you to pause, to listen, and to remember that your life is not unfolding at random. What you're experiencing now, Libra, isn't just a sequence of events, it's part of a divine pattern, and you are awakening to a phase that has been divinely orchestrated for your healing, clarity, and expansion. The star appears first, and not by accident. After periods of inner drought, after giving so much of yourself to people or paths that perhaps didn't see you fully, the energy of the star comes in like gentle rain on parched soil. It doesn't promise miracles in a flash, it promises something more meaningful: restoration. It speaks to the quiet moments where peace begins to settle into your body again, where you stop performing and start breathing. It's a card of honesty and surrender, and its light is not blinding, but soothing, an invitation to return to yourself with softness. In this moment, the universe is not asking you to chase, but to receive. You've done enough. Now it's time to let the light in. And then, with quiet force, the wheel of fortune turns. You may not feel ready, and yet the wheel turns regardless, because destiny doesn't always wait for our convenience. There are moments, rare and luminous, when life accelerates unexpectedly. A phone call. A job offer. A chance meeting. A long overdue truth. These disruptions are not punishments, they are divine timing in motion. Astrologically, Jupiter's trine with Uranus during this period opens doors from unexpected directions. It's the kind of alignment that often delivers what you've prayed for, but packaged in ways you didn't expect. A closed door may be the greatest blessing. An interruption may be your redirection. This isn't chaos, it's orchestration. And it's guided by something larger than your logic. The Eight of Cups, perhaps the most emotional card in this spread, acknowledges the quiet heartbreak of choosing yourself. Walking away is rarely easy, especially for someone like you, Libra, who values harmony and connection. But when that harmony comes at the cost of your peace, of your truth, then leaving isn't a betrayal. It's an act of courage. The Eight of Cups doesn't ask you to abandon love, it asks you to redefine it, to seek love that nourishes rather than depletes, connection that breathes life into you instead of draining it. You're not giving up. You're letting go. And there's a sacred difference. This moment is mirrored in the numbers that surround you now. 9 brings closure. 4 lays a new foundation. 1 invites rebirth. These numbers aren't simply abstract, they are frequencies. Together, they map a journey: release, rebuild, renew. And somewhere within that sacred sequence, you find yourself. If you've been waking up with heaviness in your chest, if you've been sensing the need to declutter not just your space, but your emotions, know that you're already tuning in. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply in a sacred transition. And transitions, while often messy and unclear, are deeply holy. In times like these, I often remember something simple yet powerful: grace is not earned, it is received. Just as the sun rises without your permission, just as the tide pulls back and forth without your command, so too are blessings moving toward you whether or not you feel ready. So if the ground beneath your feet feels unsteady, if life feels quieter than usual, trust that something is being rearranged for your good. You may not see the whole picture yet, but you don't need to. Your only job is to say yes to this unfolding. To keep walking, even if your legs are shaking. Because this right here is where transformation begins. Some moments don't arrive to break you, they come to release you. Libra, what's unfolding tomorrow is not loss, but liberation. The tears that may rise are not of sorrow but of sacred relief. They come from the soft collapse that happens when something finally lets go, and the weight you've carried for so long begins to lift, not because someone else came to save you, but because you're no longer resisting the change that's been trying to find you. You may receive a message, a call, or an invitation that seems simple on the surface, but something inside will tell you it's more than that. You'll feel it in your body first, like a hush before a storm or a whisper that echoes louder than any voice. It may be the return of someone from your past, someone you never truly got closure with. Or it may be someone entirely new, yet oddly familiar, whose presence unlocks a part of you that's been quietly waiting. Either way, it won't be coincidence. It will be timing. It will be grace, disguised as surprise. And perhaps that's the real miracle here, not that life suddenly gets easier, but that you finally allow yourself to stop clinging to what was never meant to last. You've been holding the scales in perfect balance for so long, trying not to tip too far in any direction. But balance is not about stillness. It's about knowing when to shift, when to adjust, and when to release what's no longer meant for you. There's a moment in everyone's life where endurance alone isn't enough. That moment teaches you to stop pushing through and start allowing in. And Libra, for you, that moment is now. You've been so strong. You've carried so much with a quiet kind of grace. You've been the one others rely on, the one who smiles even when your own heart is heavy. But the truth is, you don't need to hold it all together anymore. Not by yourself. This is the turning point. The spiritual parallel is found not in struggle, but in trust. You may remember the story of Job, a man who lost everything, yet never lost his faith. He was not rewarded for his suffering, but for his endurance. He didn't curse the process, though he questioned it. And in the end, his life was restored double. Not because he begged for it, but because he aligned with something larger than his pain. The lesson is simple: your strength isn't wasted. It's planting seeds for what's next. So if you find yourself overwhelmed tomorrow, not by drama, but by emotion, let it rise. Let it fall. Let it move through you like spring water flowing through dry soil. That is the body's way of saying, it's safe now. Safe to feel, safe to hope, safe to open. And yes, safe to start again. This isn't a moment to fix anything. It's a moment to receive. To trust that you are not being asked to rebuild overnight, but simply to believe that you no longer have to rebuild alone. Life, like any divine rhythm, will send the right people, the right opportunities, and the right shifts exactly when your soul is ready, not when your calendar says so. Take a breath. Take another. You've made it here not by luck, but by alignment. And now, as a new doorway appears, the only thing required of you is to step forward with honesty. No mask. No armor. Just presence. What's coming may surprise you, but only because it's been trying to find you all along. And now, you're finally ready to let it in. Sometimes, the deepest act of self-love is simply letting go. Not in defiance, not in anger, but in quiet, courageous clarity. The Eight of Cups does not come to scold or frighten you. It arrives gently, like a hand on your shoulder, asking, "Is this still serving your spirit?" And if you pause for even a moment, Libra, you might hear the honest answer echoing within. Because you already know. You've outgrown something, perhaps someone, some role, or some version of yourself, and the only reason it still lingers is because part of you has been afraid to close the door fully. Not out of weakness, but out of memory. Out of the attachment to what once was beautiful. But growth, by nature, asks us to step beyond the known. And when the Eight of Cups appears, it does so as a sacred invitation to begin walking a path where your heart can breathe again. It's not a punishment to walk away from something you once loved. In fact, it's one of the greatest acts of honoring that love. When you release what no longer fits, you make space not only for your own expansion but for others to find what truly aligns with them, too. Emotionally, this card aligns with a moment of spiritual adulthood. You're no longer the version of yourself who settled for crumbs. You're not here to force connections or carry expired expectations. You're being called to move toward what deeply nourishes you even if you don't yet know what that looks like. And that's okay. The clarity comes in motion, not before it. From the lens of energetic law, the law of attraction reminds us, you cannot manifest the new if you're still clinging to the old. Energetically, every time you say yes to what you've already outgrown, you're telling the universe you're not ready for more. But the moment you say no with love and yes to your truth, you create space. You open the field. You align your frequency with what's been waiting for you all along. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Letting go isn't always about burning bridges or cutting ties. Sometimes it's as simple as choosing differently. Saying no to the coffee with someone who drains your energy. Closing your laptop at a reasonable hour because your well-being matters. Admitting that the version of success you've been chasing isn't actually the one you desire anymore. Sometimes, letting go is the decision to stop proving yourself and simply be enough, exactly as you are. There's a quiet kind of power in surrender, not giving up, but giving over. Handing your burdens to something higher. Trusting that life has a rhythm, and that when you step out of resistance, you step into alignment. Many people fear that if they stop pushing, they'll fall behind. But in truth, it's in the pause that you hear the next direction. It's in the exhale that you realign with flow. This is why I encourage you today to make space not just in your calendar, but in your heart. You may be surprised how quickly the universe responds when you finally release what's been held with tired hands. That message you've been waiting for. That opportunity. That healing. It arrives so much faster when it has a clear path. Affirm this now, not as wishful thinking, but as a declaration. I release what is no longer mine, and I welcome what is divinely aligned. Speak it gently. Speak it daily. Let it settle into your cells. And remember, Libra, letting go is not a loss. It's a return. A return to who you are without the weight of the past. A return to peace. To clarity. To the next version of your beautifully unfolding life. Change often begins not with loud declarations, but with a quiet shift in the heart. Libra, you've already felt it, an inner stirring, a restlessness, a whisper asking, what if something bigger is coming? And you're right. The energy around you is moving swiftly now, like a current you can't see but can sense. It's as if the universe has already sent the blessing, already written the answer, already opened the door, but it's waiting for you to reach out your hand and claim it. When we talk about a storm of good fortune, we're not talking about luck in the shallow sense. This is about divine alignment, the moment when your inner frequency matches the opportunities the universe has been trying to deliver for months, even years. But here's the key, the wheel is already turning. It will not wait. This momentum is not passive. It's active, alive, and asking for your presence. You can't stop the wheel from turning, but you can choose to get on either, let it pass and try again later. The choice, as always, is yours. That's why the signs around you are becoming more vivid. A dream that seems oddly specific. A conversation that feels more like a message than casual words. An email that arrives just as you were thinking about making a change. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. And while the mind may try to rationalize them away, the soul recognizes truth before the brain catches up. That's why I invite you to listen to your body, your breath, your intuition, not your fear. Fear will always try to keep you safe. Intuition will try to guide you forward. Trust the one that feels expansive, not constricting. Over the next 3 days, energy will be especially fluid. You'll likely notice a heightened sensitivity to the colors, sounds, and rhythms around you. Pay attention to what draws your eye or makes you feel at peace. Colors, in particular, carry specific frequencies that help anchor you into the vibration you're meant to receive. Blue light, a soft, healing shade, will help you express your truth, especially if you've been silencing yourself for too long. Wearing or surrounding yourself with this color can soothe the throat chakra and encourage honest communication, both with yourself and others. Golden hues hold the vibration of prosperity. Not just money, but abundance in all forms, opportunities, respect, recognition, and flow. Let this color activate the part of you that is ready to receive more, not because you're greedy, but because you're worthy. And soft white, the milky, heavenly tone, acts like an energetic sponge, pulling in clean, high-frequency energy and surrounding you with clarity. Even placing a white candle beside you during morning reflection can change the tone of your day. Beyond the metaphysical, your body also needs to be a vessel that can hold the blessings arriving. If you're tense, scattered, or depleted, you may miss what's coming simply because you don't have the energetic space to recognize it. That's why practical self-help rituals are so important right now. Start your morning with just 10 minutes of silent breathing or guided meditation, not to escape life, but to tune into it. Let this become your anchor. Supplementing with B vitamins and magnesium can support your nervous system, especially if you've been experiencing decision fatigue or emotional burnout. And one of the most powerful practices you can engage in this week is journaling. Not in a forced or pressured way, but in 2 simple columns. On one side, write what you're ready to release. On the other, what you're willing to receive. This act of witnessing yourself on paper creates a bridge between thought and manifestation. It clears space in your mind and tells the universe, I'm not just hoping, I'm choosing. Libra, your season of change is not approaching, it's already here. The question is no longer whether you're ready. The question is whether you'll say yes when the blessing knocks. Because it will. And when it does, I hope you recognize it as the answer to the prayer you stopped saying out loud a long time ago. Not all awakenings happen in solitude. Sometimes, the greatest transformations begin quietly within you, but ripple outward in ways you may never fully see. Libra, when you choose to release what no longer serves your soul, when you choose to trust the unseen timing of your path, you do more than shift your own destiny, you become a living mirror for others. People watch how you walk through the storm, how you rise from the silence, how you step forward with grace even when your voice shakes. And without knowing it, you light a path for those who are still finding their way. There's a kind of leadership that doesn't demand attention, it radiates from presence. And your presence, as you move through this awakening, is quietly telling a story. A story of courage. A story of surrender. A story of realignment. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to explain. Just by honoring your truth, just by living with a little more softness and strength each day, you become the proof someone else needed. They'll look at you and whisper to themselves, if Libra can do it, maybe I can too. That's the ripple effect of healing. It's never just for you. When you choose to stop settling, to choose love that honors you, to create boundaries that protect your peace, you model something rare in this world, quiet integrity. And integrity, unlike perfection, is attainable. It's about returning to yourself over and over again, no matter how many times you drifted away. From an energetic standpoint, this is one of the most powerful contributions you can make. Raising your own frequency through self-awareness, gentleness, and aligned action sends out an invisible invitation for others to do the same. It shifts your conversations, your relationships, your impact without needing to force or convince. That is what makes you magnetic. This truth reminds me of something deeply grounded in everyday wisdom. Miracles often come through ordinary people doing intentional things. And often, they don't realize the scale of the miracle they're part of until much later. Libra, you may never fully see the impact your growth has on others. But that doesn't mean it isn't happening. That quiet coworker who finally speaks up. That friend who dares to set a boundary. That stranger who saw your post and cried because it said exactly what they needed to hear. These are not accidents. They are echoes of your courage. It's important to stay humble, yes, but also to not dim your light in false modesty. You're not here to be invisible. You're here to be real. And being real is more inspiring than being flawless ever could be. You don't have to be all better. You just have to be honest about where you are and keep choosing what feels aligned. That alone is revolutionary. In this new chapter, you may find yourself asked for advice, for support, or simply for presence. Don't feel pressure to be anyone's savior. Instead, become a space of peace. A reminder that it's possible to move forward without having all the answers. That it's okay to begin again, even if the path is unfamiliar. You're not here to fix the world. But by living a life that is rooted in truth, in gentle strength, in forgiveness, and in hope, you become the kind of person through whom the world begins to heal itself. You may not see it immediately, but you will feel it. The lightness in your chest. The clarity in your steps. The resonance in your interactions. This is what transformation feels like when it's real. So if it feels like something sacred is awakening in you, it is. If it feels like others are noticing something shift, it's because they are. Let it happen. Let yourself be seen. Not as someone who has everything figured out, but as someone who is willing to live with heart. That, Libra, is your true legacy. And it's already unfolding. If there's one truth I want to leave you with today, dear Libra, it's this. Your life doesn't change just because the cards say so. It changes when you say yes. Not a hesitant yes filled with doubt, but a wholehearted yes that comes from a place of readiness, surrender, and belief. The universe is always listening, but it moves when you do. And right now, it's holding open a door that only you can walk through. No one can force your transformation. No one can make you release what's outdated or reach for something better. That's a sacred decision that belongs only to you. But make no mistake, if you delay too long, the wheel of fortune will still turn. Destiny doesn't wait for convenience. It honors readiness. And if you've made it to this point in the video, it means something inside of you is already leaning toward change. You've heard the whisper. You've felt the nudge. The only question now is, will you follow it? Choosing faith over fear doesn't require you to have all the answers. It simply asks you to trust that something bigger is unfolding, that what's leaving your life isn't punishment, but preparation. That what's arriving is not random, but a reflection of the healing, clarity, and strength you've earned. If you walk forward now, not with force but with intention, everything begins to shift. The signs line up. The energy clears. The right people, opportunities, and resources begin to find you. But to claim what's next, you must let go of who you were when you started. You must stop trying to control the outcome and instead prepare to receive it. And that begins with a mindset. With a heart that says, I'm not going to live in hesitation anymore. I'm going to live like someone who is ready to receive what they deserve. So I ask you now, gently but directly, what are you still holding on to that no longer honors who you've become? What would it feel like to finally put it down, not out of anger or fear, but out of wisdom and love? What would it look like to live your life as someone who trusts that blessings are not accidental, but aligned? You've come so far. And now, everything in this message has led you to a moment of decision. Not one that demands perfection or certainty, but one that invites honesty. And if you felt seen, felt understood, or felt a deep resonance during this reading, that is your confirmation. You were meant to be here. You didn't stumble onto this video. You were drawn into this space because something in your spirit recognized that it's time. That tomorrow is more than just another date, it's a moment of divine turning. So before we part ways, I want to invite you to say this out loud with meant as a wish, but as a decree of power. Place your right hand over your heart, your left hand on your belly. Breathe slowly. And when you're ready, affirm these words 3 times with intention. I am ready to release the old. I welcome the good fortune with truth, relief, and rebirth. Let those words settle into your body like seeds into good soil. Let them grow in silence. Let them change the way you move, speak, and choose from this moment forward. And if this message has stirred something in you, I encourage you to anchor it in the comments. Write, I choose freedom. I am ready for the storm of good luck on December 8th. Not just for me to read, but for the universe to witness. Thank you, truly, for spending this sacred time with me. For every like, comment, and subscription that supports this Space Zodiac Whisper Tarot, you are part of something greater. You help this light reach the people who need it. You help this work continue. So stay close, Libra. Because tomorrow, you may cry, but not because you've fallen. You'll cry because grace has caught you, lifted you, and placed something miraculous into your hands that you never expected. And when it comes, you'll know. You were chosen all along.